The official welcome everybody to CPSI 2021. We are so excited to have you here. Here we go.
The Creative Education Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization and was established in 1954 by one of the original advertising madmen, the father of brainstorming and Buffalo native son, Alex Osborne. In 1955, Sidney J. Parnes joined Alex, and together they presented the first
Feel that in the hamstrings and the glutes. Exhale.
to spark personal and
This time,
professional
same thing.
transformation by empowering people with the skill set, tool set, and mindset of deliberate creativity. It's our vision to unlock the creative genius in everyone. The Creative Education Foundation
Beth, you're muted.
This year's keynote is Stephanie Ray, the I've lost it. Accountability evangelist. We are super excited to hear from her. But first, I would like to welcome Liz Monroe Cook to the center stage.
Thank you, Beth. And hello, everyone. As you heard, I'm Liz Monroe Cook, and as a member of the Creative Education Foundation's Board of Trustees and its chair, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Virtual CPSI 2021 on behalf of all of the trustees. Now, I've been coming to and learning from CPSI since 1991. That's a long time, but it ain't even the record. I'm talking to you, Walt Stevenson, Joette Field, Bill Shepard, and others. So you're going to meet many people who make CPSI a frequent part of their lives and who are amazing and important contributors. So we're especially happy this year to know how many of you are at CPSI for the first time. We so value your fresh eyes, and we will gain from that energy because we strive to keep a beginner's mind here as a means of opening up to new insights and ideas. So let us borrow that fresh eyes energy from you at will, if you don't mind. Our presenters are also very happy to share their expertise with you, but at the same time, they respect the expertise that everyone in attendance brings to the conference experience. That's why we all call ourselves participants. You don't have to make a multi-year commitment to gain a lot, although you can do so. Beth and I will both be thrilled about that. And you will find many people who do so. But please know that no matter what amount of time you dedicate to CPSI, you can take away a lot that's meaningful from your experience. For this virtual CPSI, we hope everyone will experience being part of this community of learners and practitioners, that you will be inspired, and that you will know you are being seen and heard for what it is you bring to the conference. Thank you so much for being here, and welcome again.
Thank you so much, Liz. We're so excited. Now I'd like to turn the time over to our intrepid executive director, Beth Miller.
Thank you, Beth. So hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to see you all here. It's so wonderful to be at CPSI and see everyone's faces. So we're so glad you're here. CPSI doesn't happen like magic, though it may feel like it happens like magic. So that means we have a few people to thank for helping us run the Creative Education Foundation and for making CPSI happen. So Creative Education Foundation is a nonprofit organization, which means our leadership team includes a volunteer board of trustees. We are honored to have an extremely accomplished and dedicated board. Please check out the CEF webpage on the About Us section at the very top, and you can read more about these amazing folks that help us govern, maintain, and forward our mission. CPSI also could not happen without the world-class creativity, innovation, and leadership professionals who lead our sessions and workshops. There's more than 40 events at this CPSI this year. It's stunning. I'm so excited to work with these inspiring people. Thank you to all of our CPSI leaders. We also could not fly without our wings. Wings are our core of volunteers who adapted to COVID times by bringing their support to the online space, serving us as producers who will help make our virtual space safe, accessible, and easy. Thank you guys. Thank you for our wings. CEF's signature process is called the creative problem solving process. And we have a handful of expert CPS facilitators and trainers whom we invite to be part of our core CPS faculty. This means that they help us design, refine, and present all levels of our CPS curriculum for virtual and live presentations. Thank you for your dedication, your rigor, for all the members of our core faculty. The CEF staff is lean and mean, and if you work in nonprofit, you know that family is often indentured to the cause. Please join me in thanking the best team in the world and all their partners and children who support us and CEF. We're all missing Missy right now. She is unwell and she's missing CPSI to get well. So she doesn't have too much FOMO. For those of you who are old like me, that means fear of missing out. She has requested that you all post about CPSI a lot on social media so she can be here vicariously. We love you, Missy. And finally, our sponsors. Seed Strategy is our closing event sponsor and also the Seed Frame sponsor. If you're on Facebook, you can add the CPSI Seed Frame to your picture. So definitely check that out. We'd love to have you, everyone celebrating that they're part of CPSI, and this is our, in lieu of a name tag, we have our Seed Strategy frames. ARCA and the Inley School donate office space in Buffalo and Scituate, Massachusetts, respectively. It is amazing to have a home ground, even though we mostly function as a virtual office. Having space to store our stuff and our persons is really amazing when we need it. We're also super grateful to Keynote Gates. Keynote Gates provides us with pro bono legal services. They are a international, multifaceted legal firm. It is pretty amazing to be a teeny tiny nonprofit and have expert legal advice on all topics at my fingertips at all times. Thank you, Keynote Gates, for your generous pro bono legal services. I also want to thank Foresight, the official psychometric assessment of CPSI. Foresight helps us spread the word and really integrate their psychometric assessment into our core classes. And we're really grateful for the way that it helps us talk about the work that we do. So that is all of the thank yous. Please feel free to reach out to any of us. And thank you all for being here. And thank you for everyone who makes CPSI happen.
Thank you all of those people, and thank you, Beth Miller. Now I'd like to turn the time over to one of the best MCs in the world and all around so funny person, Jane Fisher, who will welcome us to.
So hello and welcome to CPSI. For those of you who have been in CPSI in person, I do have all of my Post-its and Sharpies and Mr. Sketches and everything we need. The only thing we don't have is a hot facilitation room. Oh yes, maybe we do, depending on where you are in the world right now. So everything's right in the world with CPSI. Now, for those of you that this is your first time at CPSI, give a wave or hit the reaction button on your bottom of your screen. And for those of you who it's not your first time, give a big welcome. Yay! So you are now one of us, one of us, one of us, and we're never going to let you go. So, you know, too late. You're in the CPSI clutches now. And we should never let you go with our great camaraderie and spirit and wonderful speakers and wonderful people involved. So what are you, if you are a first timer, or if this is your first virtual, or if you're a pro and you just want to hear me talk, I've got all of you covered. So what we're going to cover this year at CPSI is we're going to have a lot of different sessions where they're going to be interactive. And so we're going to encourage camera on and microphone on when appropriate, and just watch the muting, because I've been known to scold my cats with the microphone on in the background. So, but they're lovely. So we want you to be interactive, but we also recognize that it's a strange time in the world, where in your workplace, your play place, or your home place, wherever that is. Also take time for you, because SIPSI it's several days, and it's all day and sometimes into the evening. So if you need a moment to just say, you know what, my hair is not doing the Zoom thing, so I'm just gonna sort of camera off for a little while, but I'm still gonna engage. That's fine. You need to go get a coffee, an iced coffee, a water, whatever you might need. Go ahead and do that. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself while you are enjoying the SIPSI experience. So, you know, there's no hard and fast rules. We don't want you in your seat at the perfect posture the whole time. So we want this to be relaxed and healthy and happy, and do what makes you the best engaged learner in the moment for you, whatever that means. And if you are somebody who's been to SIPSI before, reach out to somebody who identifies themselves as a first timer. Some people identifying themselves in chat as a first timer. Drop them a welcome, and if you have any questions, let me know. And if you are a first timer, I don't think there are any scary people. There's Wing Mike. Mike's a little scary, but not in a mean way, just in a dance moves way. So nobody here at SIPSI is scary. So if you have any questions about anything, drop us all notes. We love notes. We miss having sticky notes. So just drop us a line and say, hey, how do I do this? Or can you help me find something? The wings are fantastic. Beth is a big glittery ball of fantastic. So just feel comfortable to ask questions and bring yourself and be yourself and enjoy SIPSI with all that you have. So, what is it to grow? To grow might mean several different things. To grow might mean to be bigger. Hello, COVID. COVID snacks. Some of us have grown during the past year. Thank you, baking. So that's fine. And for some of you, growing may mean you've learned something. Maybe it's learned to do something better. Maybe it's learned to not do something anymore. Maybe it's learning that recognizing that you have a strength or a challenge area that you didn't recognize before. Maybe it is trying something that's a little bit out of your comfort zone. Growing means something different to everyone, and depending on the context. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about here, I don't have any super fun props this year. Wah, wah. I did think about what grow meant to me. And I live in the Western New York area, a little south of Buffalo, and we have rich Native American history in our part of the state, which is quite lovely. And one of the things that occurred to me was the wonderful tradition and expertise that I give deference and honor to the Native American culture and people for this. I want to talk about the Three Sisters. For those of you who may or may not know about the Three Sisters, I'm going to do my best to open up a little picture and show you what the Three Sisters are. The Three Sisters, according to Native American culture and expertise, is planting. You have corn, you have beans, you have squash. The knowledge is to plant these together. But why? I'll tell you. The corn in the middle is doing one thing, the beans are doing something else, the squash is doing something else. All three together work in symbiosis. They support each other, they give something that the others might not be able to give, and they receive something from the others. Much like we're hoping that SIPSI will do for you here as a collective group while we're here, and things that you can take with you post-SIPSI, that you can sort of live in this symbiotic sort of mindset and skill set and life set. So the corn is in the middle, growing tall and providing support and providing sort of a solid base for the others. That's wonderful of the corn. So if you have somebody in your life who is a good support, feel free to tell them, you're my corn. And don't tell them why. Or just leave it at that. The beans, and we're talking about whole beans, what beans will do is they'll take some nitrogen out of the air and they'll bring it into the soil and they'll help enrich and feed the others. So the beans are helping to keep them nice and nutrient rich because it helps with the soil. And the beans, when they grow taller, they're growing, they're connecting each other, and so they sort of tie them all together. The beans are helping that way. What's the squash doing, you might ask? I'll tell you, the squash or pumpkins or any kind of a squash family will often have little prickly leaves and stems. So they'll provide a layer of protection from predators, often because, they don't like the prickly leaves, but they'll also provide some shade. So the squash is providing some nice shade that the corn and the beans can't do. So they're all working together, offering their strength, offering their gifts to each other in order to enrich the family who's hoping to eat them. Thank you very much. We're going to help you and now eat us. And so what we're hoping that this leads to with CPSI is, in what ways might you take this sort of metaphor from CPSI? Thinking about things like, for those of you who are familiar with foresight or not yet familiar with foresight, we might be thinking about the thinking styles and what each thinking style will contribute. Is there somebody who contributes the support? Is there somebody who continues to tie it all together? Someone who contributes other gifts and other strengths. So we think about this in a way of thinking styles or preferences or strengths or challenges, different team members, different positions. It's a method, it's a way to look at diversity, really, and having people on your team and in your corner to work together to grow something yummy. So that's the three sisters metaphor for the growing. And we also think about what else is needed to grow. You need the light. And when light comes in, light can either be reflected, absorbed, or transmitted. And isn't that kind of like knowledge? That when we learn something, we take something in from one of these sessions from CPSI or elsewhere, or a conversation that we have with somebody, we can reflect that, we can reflect our experience, we can absorb it and really take it in and think about it, and we can transmit it, we can share that knowledge. So you need light, and you need the water and the soil for nutrients to create energy and to create life, and that's what we're hoping that sometimes knowledge and energy from others will do. We're also hoping that you need, another thing for growth, is things need room and time to grow. Does anybody need room and time in their life? A little bit. So find that room and that time and that space to grow. Another thing is the butterfly bushes out front, they grow best when clipped back a little bit. So growth is not always just adding things on. Growth can sometimes be clipping away the parts you don't necessarily need that have already served you. So think about growth in all of those different ways. As you listen to Stephanie, as you move forward, if you have a journal, if you capture your ideas through writing, please do that. We'll give you some moments to capture journals. Journals can look nice and neat like this. Oh, I have a background, so it's not going to be a notebook. Or a journal can be, hey, I've got scrap paper. So whatever that writing material, if you're a writer, write it down. If you're a drawer and want to create some sort of a drawing as you go through CPSI, pens, markers, handy. That's great. If you're a thinker and want to keep it all up here, if you've got a magical whiteboard in your head that's full of wonderful little drawings and problems to solve, and sometimes you have to erase the whiteboard, and sometimes things don't go away. Metaphors. Capture all that down. So however you can capture all of this CPSI knowledge and the CPSI experience, please do so. That has been my metaphors, but I can't leave without playing a game because it is against my nature. So to get you to grow out into some energy, and to grow into being more alert and alive for Stephanie, if you have your cameras on, you will be a helpful player for this. If not, you can just watch and giggle. Both are acceptable. So we're going to play a little game called Near, Far, Wave. And the three positions are near, you'll be close to your camera, closer than you are. Far, maybe a little bit lean back. And wave is this, okay? So what you need to do is, if everybody in the screen, you can either choose the two people on either side of you on Zoom, or two people above and below you on Zoom, or if you're in a corner, you've got a right and a bottom, or a left and a bottom, or a, whatever it is, a little kitty corner thing. If you're in the corner, go to the side, to the bottom or top, but pick two people that are right adjacent to you. And what you're hoping for is that all three of you are going to be doing something different. And if not, you're going to need to adjust. Spoiler alert, it's almost different for everyone, so it's not going to be the same. Okay, so here we go. So find two people the side of you and pick one of them. Look at everybody make a motion and then adjust to try to create one person in your threesome is near, one person is far, one person is waving. We're just going to do this for just a little bit to go and go. And who had a perfect 3 line? Anybody have a perfect 3 line? Anybody? Is anybody not cooperating with you like they ought to be? Yeah. Shame on you. All right. So that's the game of near, far, wave. It's just to make you frustrated on a Monday afternoon. And I'm all done with my talking. Have fun at SIPSI. I'm going to see you the whole time because I'm going to be the slightly less capable understudy of Misty and helping out Beth in the wings for the whole time. So you're going to see a lot of me at SIPSI. Yay! Bye.
Thank you so much, Jane. Before I welcome on our keynote speaker, it's the first day, so I forgot to turn on the closed captioning right at the start. So all of a sudden, you probably saw closed captioning. If you don't want to see closed captioning, on the very bottom of your screen, there's a menu bar, and you should see live transcript with CC, and next to it, a caret. If you click on that caret, you've got hide subtitles, which will make this all go away for you, or view transcripts. You can see it running like a script on the side of your screen, or subtitle settings. If you like the subtitles, we've had a lot of people reach out about being able to use them, but also you're no longer 22, and so like to see, you play a little near far to see the words. You can change the size of the subtitles. So thank you very much for letting me tell you that later than I had planned. But now that you've got subtitles, you can either see and hear the amazing Stephanie Ray. I am so excited to welcome her to SIPSI and to the main screen of SIPSI. She is the accountability evangelist, and the minute I saw her speak at something else, I'm like, oh, she needs to share what she has with my favorite people on the planet. That's you people. And I am so excited to welcome her to the best community in the world. Not only is she amazing, but her daughter has become a wing this year. So the family is amazing too. But please welcome Stephanie Ray.
Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you for having me. This is so wonderful to kick off SIPSI. What a family there is here. So thank you for letting myself and my daughter in. I think you'll soon pick your favorite. It'll probably start with .wing. But anyway, here we go. Let me share my screen so you can see the presentation. Let's go in here. Okay, we're ready to go. You know where you are, so we're going to get moving. This is who I am. Right? I'm Stephanie Ray. I'm the accountability evangelist. My mission is to help more people to serve more people. And I do this by helping accountable people achieve their most ambitious goals so they can happily live a life of fulfillment and make a tremendous positive impact on the lives of the people they choose to serve. And I have 3 assumptions that I'm going to share with you just to give you context from where I'm coming from. Okay, the first is that accountable people have a growth mindset and are called to serve others. The second is that people with a growth mindset are in continuous pursuit of learning and personal transformation. And the third is goal setting and execution accelerate personal transformation. from these assumptions, I now have a hypothesis, which is that people who pursue ambitious goals are more inclined to generously serve others. So as we get the chat going here, wondering what you think about all of that. So please go ahead and jump that in there. I threw that all at you right away, but just as an opener here, we're going to get into the main content in a second. What do you think about this hypothesis? Does it sit well with you? Are you the type of person who, when I said these assumptions, you're like, pick me, that's who I am? I hope so, because this is the audience that I'm serving. It's people like you. So keep that in mind as we go forward. And let me just hit that. There we go. Okay, so let's start with defining accountability. Now your turn to continue the chat. I would like to hear what your definition, or see, I should say, what your definition of accountability is before I share with you the definition that I have borrowed from my new friend, Mark Samuel. So go ahead and throw that in the chat while I'm explaining to you who Mark Samuel is. Mark, I met through my first online summit that I hosted in January of this year called Get Out of Your Own Way, Eliminate the Beliefs, Excuses, and Distractions that are keeping you from tackling your most ambitious goals. Okay, doing what I say, think I'm going to do. Yep, great. Anything else? Go ahead and throw it in the chat because I'm going to share with you my definition. So by the way, the dictionary, if you look this up and you Google it, accountability is pretty oppressive. And I'm kind of on a secret mission to change that. And so I was thrilled to hear Mark's definition of accountability, which is taking action consistent with your desired outcomes. So keep that definition in mind as we go along here. Yep, fulfilling expectations, agreements, etc. Great. Okay, so to hug or to hold, I'm going to teach you the difference. We're going to start with the accountability matrix. All right. So whose behavior can you control? Just one answer to this. Only yours. Perfect. Thank you for playing along. Okay. And whose behavior can you influence? Yes, exactly. It's like you saw this ahead of time. Awesome. Okay. So when we talk about holding accountable versus hugging accountable, we are going to talk about external motivation. So when you're talking about holding accountable, these are goals that other people have for you or for someone else. Okay, so that keep that distinction in mind, because hugging accountable is internally motivated. And we'll come back to that in a second. So tell me how you hold others accountable. What does that look like? What do you actually do to hold others accountable? Right? Due dates. Again, keep in mind, these are things, holding them accountable to do something that they didn't necessarily choose to do. They might be okay with it, but it's not something that they said, I want to meet this goal. It's some other goal, maybe your boss or the company. Yes, nagging, etc. Gentle reminders, harsh glares. Yes, all of that. Okay, so how does that, okay, so now think about for a second, you're going to flip it around now. How does it feel to be held accountable by someone else for a goal that you didn't choose? How does that feel to you? Yes. Generally, right. I mean, even this is why I'm on a mission to change the context of accountability, because when you hear the word accountability, I believe people are thinking just the things that you're putting in the chat, right? Being held accountable is like being held down, right? Being told what to do, etc. So when you are holding other people accountable, what you're really doing is you're managing them. You're directing their activities, right? So what about yourself? Okay. What do you do when you're holding yourself accountable? Again, now keep in mind, this is for some other goal. So let's say your boss or your company or a family member asked you to do something that you have to do. How do you keep yourself accountable? Yep, calendar reminders is a great one. There's tons of lists, absolutely. Now, all of these things, these due dates, these lists, etc., you're restricting yourself. Okay. And so what I mean by that is you're operating within parameters that agree with the goal that you were told you have to meet. Okay, so that's not terrible. And to be honest, before I move over to the hug side, I just want to clarify that holding accountable is still a legitimate thing to do. There are always going to be goals and objectives out there that originate from someone other than you that have to be done. So if you're holding someone else accountable, you need to manage them in some way. If you're holding yourself accountable, you need to restrict your activity in order to meet those goals. Okay, let's move over to the more fun side, the hugging side. How do you think you would hug someone else accountable? Okay, keep in mind again, when you hug someone else accountable, you're encouraging others to do something they want or need to do. Good, I see the encourage word, they're great. In order to achieve an outcome they strongly desire. So they may have said to you, I really want to write a book. I really want to run a marathon. What would you do? Yeah, coach, work alongside, right. Okay, hopefully you're starting to see already the difference between holding and hugging accountable here. Wonderful, cheer them on, help them define the steps, all very good, great. So when you hug someone accountable, you are supporting them. Okay, great. Oh, look at that. Sorry, the perfect timing on supportive. All right, so now we're going to talk about hugging yourself accountable. This is when you enable yourself to do something you want or need to do in order to achieve an outcome you strongly desire. What does that look like? Okay. What are you doing for yourself when you're hugging yourself accountable? Focus is good. Yep. Positive self-talk. Rewards. Yes. Remember how great the outcome is. Keep that. That's why people do vision boards, right? Just remind them, this is where I'm heading. Creating space and time. Excellent. Excellent. So when you're doing all of those things, you are expanding. You're expanding based on your own motivation. So when you take action in the name of your burning and inescapable desire to achieve your most ambitious goals, you will create more capacity in yourself. You're experiencing growth, you're increasing your potential, not merely fulfilling it. And when you embrace an abundance mentality, you will see how your options and opportunities truly are limitless to make that tremendous positive impact on the lives of the people you choose to serve. Yes, Beth, I agree. All right, I love this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to move on, but you're going to get this picture, don't worry. So how do you hug yourself accountable, practically speaking? Let's tell you how to do that. First things first, I recommend you take the accountability pledge, okay, which is hand over heart. I am accountable. I serve others by doing whatever it takes to be the best person I can be. Yes, I would recommend getting a cape, Leo, just for what it's worth. And you can put your A in the cape too. I have an A in the back of my cape. And this is the pledge that I give. And by the way, years ago, I went to my daughter's career fair when she was in second grade, and I gave out accountability pledges to all the students there who could tell me the difference between control and influence. And it was very, very easy for them, right? They figured it out right away what the main concepts of accountability are. So there's your accountability ambassador pledge. And I have another tool for you, which is the personal leadership mirror. Okay, so you hold the mirror to yourself. And before I go on, I just want to say the mirror should never be pointing outward, right? If you're accountable, the mirror is always pointing toward yourself. And what it says is, ask yourself this question: what am I doing or not doing that is delaying or preventing my personal or professional success? The answer to that question will give you lots of clues as to what actions you should take next. And the cool part is, if you keep asking this question over and over, you can get more answers. So you say, what else am I doing or not doing that is delaying or preventing my personal or professional success? All the data you need is in that mirror. Okay, so, but the title of this talk was about lifelong learners, right? So how do lifelong learners hug themselves accountable? They, drum roll, maximize their ROI, the return on investment at every learning opportunity. What a perfect place to be at CPSI to do that. And speaking of CPSI, we're going to go through CPSI in just a second before I tell you this, after I tell you the steps. So the steps to maximizing your ROI are: start before it starts, sit in the front row, and don't stop when it ends. So those are the 3 steps. I think the best way for you to understand this is for me to go through some examples. So we're going to start with CPSI. What does it mean to start before it starts? When you go to a conference, okay, choose your sessions beforehand. CPSI did a great job of having them all laid out before you. So if you have not yet put your sessions on your calendar, it's not too late to do that. Nobody knows anyway, right? So you could do that now. And Sketch is really cool. I first time using it. I love it. It's great. So you have that tool at your disposal. So that's start before it starts, right? You're going to think about it. You're kind of priming yourself for the learning that's going to occur. Sit in the front row. When I was at a previous company, my colleagues did not like me very much when we went to conferences because they knew I would drag them to the front row. I did that on purpose because I know that if I have a phone in my purse or in my hand, I'm going to be looking at it unless I'm sitting in the front row, fully engaged. And while I'm there, I'm taking notes. Now, sitting in the front row in a virtual conference is the same type of thing, except you can get away with a lot of this cheating. So you have to hold yourself or hug yourself accountable for staying engaged. So taking notes in your journal, Jane mentioned earlier, engage in the chat, which I was told this group does not have any trouble engaging in the chat, which I noticed, which is awesome. So thank you for that. When there's a Q&A, jump in. When there are activities, jump in. Even if you're an introvert and you're like, I don't know if I really want to put myself out there, give it a try, get out of your comfort zone. And if you really, really can't handle it, then just stay engaged. Just stay engaged and take it all in, right? Connect with other attendees. It's very obvious that a lot of you are returning to CPSI and you've got to know each other over the years. And you're also at the same time very welcoming, which is wonderful for those of us who are new, like myself. So do that, continue to connect with other attendees. And then, thank you, accountability pledge. Yes, don't stop when it ends. Okay, when this is over, or even during it, because this conference is kind of stretched out because of the virtual nature, review your notes and then either make a plan to implement the chosen actions, or if they're quick actions, you can just do them right away. Schedule follow-up meetings with the people you connected with or with other people in your network for whom the topic is relevant. And then, as always, and this is always part of the cycle, consider the next learning opportunity to pursue. Think about what learning gaps do I have now that CPSI is over that I want to fill. And here's another one. We're going to get right into another example of a learning opportunity you could pursue. I happen to have one for you that I'm going to use as an example. So on-demand summits, online summits, are a really good way to take in a lot of really good information at your own pace. So kind of similar to CPSI, except it's not live. They're pre-recorded interviews. I've been through a number of summits myself. I've hosted 2. My second one that I hosted was just a few weeks ago. And I'm holding special pricing during this conference. You can go to my website if you're interested in checking it out. But in order to understand the content today, I want to walk you through the 3 steps again. Start before it starts. Even though you pay for all access to basically lifetime access to a summit, don't put it off. You want to make an intentional schedule for moving through it as if you had an actual schedule in place. So don't put it off because those insights are sitting there waiting for you and can unlock a lot of your potential you do not want to delay. So definitely check that out. Okay, sit in the front row, right? Again, dedicate and immerse yourself during the sessions. One thing I suggest you do when you do these summits, and this is what I try to do, is I relocate to a different spot. So if I'm sitting at my desk all day working from home, I'm going to move to a comfortable couch or other place where I can really just be comfortably taking in all this wonderful information. At the same time, I am taking notes. And don't stop when it ends. It's really the same thing you saw from the last example, with difference being follow your favorite speakers. So in the summit, the cool part is actually similar to CPSI, but with some of these summits, there's a lot of variety in speakers. They're all over the world, just like all of you from CPSI are, all the attendees and the speakers. There's going to be different speakers that you resonate with more than others. So follow them and take in more of their content. Maybe you'll end up considering their next learning opportunity as your next step. And the last example I want to go through with you is networking meetings. Start before it starts. So learn about who you will be meeting. Okay, you probably, most everyone on the call has probably done a networking meeting before. And if you have, think about the ones that have gone really well and the ones that maybe seemed not as good. You know, they just didn't flow very well. I would bet that more preparation would help them flow. And one thing is to make sure you know who you're meeting, learn about them on LinkedIn, connect with them ahead of time, and sit in the front row. So when you are meeting with someone, be fully present. You know, turn off the distractions, really be there and take it all in. This is where relationships start. And you want to make a strong first impression by being gracious and curious. Ask lots of great questions. Embody the give first approach. So this is not something I made up. This I learned from the startup community in Western New York State. This is something that they've adopted. I know that this approach is very well known in the rest of the startup community in the US and perhaps globally. But the idea behind Give First is that you approach every interaction with someone thinking about how can I help them achieve their goals? Not thinking about what you're going to get in return, but knowing that some way, somehow, this is going to come back to you. Probably not with that person, maybe not tomorrow, but someday someone's going to do that for you. They're going to give first to you. That's the Give First approach. And don't stop when it ends. Okay, together, when you're in a networking meeting, jointly decide on the next steps. Don't just end it and say, hey, thanks so much, and end the call. If you're on a Zoom or a coffee meeting or whatever, talk about what to do next. It may just be simply, let's keep in touch. And if you're going to do that, then put a note on your calendar to follow up with them at a specific date, even if you don't choose one. And before you go, make sure you inquire about future collaborations if it's applicable with that person, or relevant referrals. You can say to them, I really enjoyed speaking with you about XYZ today. Who else do you recommend I talk to about that topic? This is how you grow your network. And this is how you keep going to repeat this process over and over, to start before it starts, sit in the front row, and don't stop when it ends. Okay, with that, I know some of you are already asking about the presentation. I purposely did not post it ahead of time because I really wanted your full attention. I wanted to do the big reveal during the session. So as soon as my session's over, I will upload the handout, which will be this document you see here. This is a great visual for you to remind you what I talked about today. And I will also upload the slide deck for you so you can have that as well. And with that, I thank you very much. I believe I left a few minutes, actually, looks like maybe we're right on time, Beth, but if there's a few questions, I can take those. Wing Ray, I don't know if you saw any in there, but most of the things I saw were comments and not questions. So if you do have questions right now, you can throw them in the chat and I'll just kind of peek there. But while I'm waiting, I just want to thank you again. This has been so much fun for me to prepare for CPSI and get in the zone with this concept of hugging yourself accountable. I feel very passionate about it. And I just want to thank you so much for giving me a platform to really launch it for the first time.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And I can't wait to see all of you next year at Live CPSI with your capes on. I will be going to the dollar store for the wings because they are going to be having capes. That's happening. A word of programming notes. When this opening is done, we're going to keep this room open before we start the next event. And there's a little time open, and Stephanie has graciously offered to host a breakout room. So if you want to go, I can put you in a breakout room with her and you can ask her more questions about capes.
Of course, of course.
The questions are going to be about capes. So as promised, Stephanie, this is a fantastic audience and they're all super excited. And thank you so much. So speaking of CPSI, I want to talk a little bit about how to do CPSI. If you are new to the video conference world, we've got some tips and tricks and things about CPSI. So the first thing that I wanted to share is there may be times, and please only do this if you're invited to do this, but there may be times when you're going to be asked to annotate on your screen. If you look right now at the very top, there should be CEF Beth is sharing screen, and then a little, I can't remember what the word is that it's next to it, but it's like, James, view options. Yes, if you click on view options, it opens up an additional menu. And one of those items is annotate. If you click then on annotate, it'll open up another menu. All the menus. It's like restaurant week here. And you can see, you can draw or you can stamp. So if you would like to do that, some of you are familiar with this, so you know what you're doing. So I can see we've got some first year people, and I am obnoxiously excited that you're here. I know Missy and I talk frequently about how freaking blessed we are for doing a job that we love, and we love so much of our job. And even in work, there's times where you're like, oh, this is great. But CPSI is one of those things where you're like, no, it's amazing. It is amazing. Every person that I know should come. I love CPSI. I do love all of my job, Pam. But I can't tell you enough about how awesome this is. If this is your first time, you're going to meet some fantastic people, super generous, sharing so much information. So it'll be very, very, very great. I am going to now, wait, no, I'm going to take a screenshot of this beauty because this needs to be seen forever. And now I'm going to erase it. I love your work. Thank you very much. But now I need to clear it so we can go on to the next slide. Oops, now I have to turn off annotate or won't let me go forward. If you are new to Zoom, here is some Zoom information for you. Up at the very top left-hand corner, you've got red light, yellow light, green light. If you do yellow light, that'll take and make Zoom very small in case you need to see something else. Down at the bottom, big menu. First is the mic. Unless you're invited to take yourself off of mute, please just in general, keep yourself on mute. Part of the reason why is if our presenter is talking and your phone rings, it cuts out the sound for them. And then it makes it hard for the rest of us to hear. So we want to hear what everybody has to say. We do, next to it is video. We want to see your face because we love your face. Also, I'm going to ask Wing Mike if you would drop in. If you like Wing Mike's virtual background, he'll drop that into chat and you can download and have that for yourself. We understand though, if self-care or you're changing a diaper or whatever, that you need to take yourself off of video. But if you can, please keep yourself on camera as much as possible. If you need help, the next button is participants. I am .cefbeth so that you can find me if you need to message me from there. Anybody who has .wing is somebody who you can private message for help, and they will do their best to answer any questions. They will give all of the information that they have. If they don't know it, it might go to, we might have to elevate the next thing and I'll tell you how to do that. Chat, if you haven't found it yet, it's down there. Please, we found that chat is super, super rich with the CPSI crowd. You know, Chris Kahn is talking in a session and then Deb Williams is like, oh, here's a source about what she said. That's fantastic. We see a lot of that. It's wonderful, forms a great community. The other thing we also see in chat is anytime people come back from the breakout rooms, they're like, breakout room 3 was the best ever. Love my breakout room, people. You can also private message people there. So if you were in breakout room 3 and it was the best and you want to talk afterwards, you can private message your email to them and they can chat with you later on. You can extend the learning just like Stephanie taught us. I talked about closed captioning if you need to see what people are saying. If you need to see what people are saying in breakout rooms, please let me know. Closed captioning only works when we're in the main room. So if you need it during breakout rooms, please email me and I will do my best to get somebody to live closed caption your breakout room for you. And then furthermore, reactions. Show me your reactions. If you've done a Zoom update, they have so many reactions now. So you click on reactions, at the very least, you're going to have like thumbs up, thumbs down, but now they also sometimes let you do like all of the emojis. So it's super exciting. Up on your top corner, you decide how you see CPSI. So I like to have a gallery view and the PowerPoint. Sometimes people just want to see who's speaking or they just want to see the PowerPoint. So if you click on that, you can arrange how you see things. There is a line in between with the grab bar so that you can make the PowerPoint bigger or the Brady Bunch crowd bigger. So you can move that and it determines the side of each of those screens. And then finally, the lower corner, it ends your call. We don't want you to hit that until you absolutely have to, but that's where it is. And then we'll say, goodbye, we love you, we'll see you later. If you have any questions about how to do any of this stuff on Zoom, please reach out to anybody that says .wing or email. And I'm gonna turn off the annotate so I can change. But that's the lowdown on how to do Zoom. Now, how to do CPSI. You're getting the links, and obviously you all have found a link somehow, but if somebody is like, I don't know where I got the link, they come from contact at Creative Education Foundation, which sometimes gets sent to a spam folder. So if there's anything that you feel like you should have gotten and you haven't gotten, check out Spam-A-Lot because it might be there. The other place to check is if you've downloaded the app Sked, there is a desktop version, there is a phone version. They send out the links 10 minutes beforehand, and our amazing Jamie Robinson checked it and it worked today. Shelly is saying if you're using Outlook, it may be in other or not focused. So check out some of the other email folders. Also, while you're on Sked, please note that our presenters oftentimes have put down handouts or, hey, please bring these things. And that's where you can find that information. But you can go through on Sked and click all of the sessions that you want to go to, and it will send you reminders about it. And the links are on there and anything that you might need to know for the session. Some new things, if you've been there before, is after this, we'll have about half an hour. We're going to keep the room open, but we're doing a pre-conference. Yeah, Joette, I believe you can add stuff to Sked on a daily basis. Check through maybe the night before, check through what you want to do. But the pre-conference is, we've got it's a speed meeting. If you are new and you've been here 1,000 times, Mark and Pascal have so much fun things planned for us to do to get to be familiar with each other, because hopefully we're going to spend the next 3 weeks together. And come to that. And then we've got three amazing sessions. We've got the what, so what, and now what. Erin is going to do what with the COVID-Innovate, from COVID-19 to Innovate 21. And then the wonderful Sari has sticky intentions, not like honey, but I need a little bit like, hey, honey. She also would ask that you bring about 5 items that you just have around, either like run and grab from outside or around your house for that you will find useful for her session. And then finally, we're going to close up with sketch notes from Paul Skaggs. So if you don't yet have a CPSI notebook, after the opening, grab a CPSI notebook because you're going to want to take notes like Stephanie recommended. And Paul is going to give you some extra cool ways to take some notes, to add some fun stuff to your notes. Additionally, new stuff we have is a book chat, because the one thing that we were missing was the bookstore. So tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got 10 brilliant people who are going to share quick talks about the different books that CEF has in their bookstore. And this is a picture of my lawn. Also, it was taken early in the morning, so there was a little bit of dew, and I had to have them all sit out at my kitchen table and try out afterwards, because ideate, implement, and then clarify. Also, this is so exciting. Shelly is waving her hands. She is doing a Friday nightcap recap of everything that you have found. She'll guide you through group conversations and help you process and discuss what you've done that whole week. And she's adorable. So you'll enjoy that Friday session. While pajamas are not required, they're strongly encouraged, because after 6:30 p.m., it's the middle of the night at that point, and so you should be in your pajamas and enjoy a beverage of your choice. Things that we had before and have just decided to make better include the coffee hours, which before were fun and great little sessions, and now they're full on organized, fantastic sessions with great learning and PowerPoints. We've got everything from appreciative inquiry all the way down to virtual brainstorming and all the things in between. So those will happen every day. I want to say at 11. Yes, 11 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Eastern, not p.m., because that's a crazy time. So there'll be those sessions. The social hours this year. Do clarifiers like claret? My process. We've got pairings and preferences. So I've got an idea about this Sauvignon Blanc. Whatever. We also have like getting your dancing shoes ready. Deb Williams and Wing Mike are going to keep the party going. As is necessary, we're going to have improv games one night. These are for all levels and completely interactive. You only need to be alive. No talent or skill required. Jane Fisher and Katie Berner are going to help us play our little hearts off. And then June 22nd, we are having Allison James from the Invention Convention is going to let us adults play with prototyping. So go through your recycling bin and get out those Legos and cardboard and tape, and we're just gonna like build stuff for fun. So that's our social hours. And then, as Beth said before, we always love to thank our sponsors. They are wonderful. Our sponsors and partners help keep us going. If you feel like you would love to have your name on that screen, please reach out to Beth Miller and she will talk to you about how you can make that happen. So that is how one CPSI's.
Nee joh, ik ga even lekker douchen.
Oh. And then I am now going to turn the time over to our amazing and wonderful executive director, Beth, to get this party started.
Yes, thank you so much, Beth. Thank you so much for clarifying and helping everyone have a really great Zoom experience. When I think about our theme of grow, I can't help but reflect on how powerful it is to truly have a creativity mindset. Last year, when we were faced with calling the ball on live CPSI and going to a virtual format, it was terrifying. You know, CPSI provides all of our operational income. And as a leader, I'm like, wow, I hope we all have jobs still. And how can we kind of hold this space? And when you're in that creativity mindset, it was just conversations with the team and with the board. And we very quickly pivoted to doing this virtual conference, which resulted in us teaching people how to do good virtual meetings. So it created a whole new revenue stream for us. And suddenly the thing that was always on the back burner, which is getting into the virtual space more, was moved to the front burner. And we were able to quickly and flexibly move to that. And this is going to be here with us in multiple iterations into the future. So when you think about growing, think about maybe the unexpected situations that provoke you to stretch and grow, to test yourself. What we realized last year was that we had been building towards that moment by building our creativity facility as a team. It was there when we needed it. It was there when we needed it emotionally, practically, and every other which way. We hate that Missy is not here with us, but the same thing happened at the end of this week when we realized our second couldn't be here for the virtual conference. How do we support and love her and give her space to heal while also making sure we're here for all of you? And that was a couple of phone calls, and we just did it. And it wasn't just us. It was the volunteers who raised their hands to help us out. The wings, Jane, people just stepping in. So when you're in that creativity mindset, when you really live and breathe it, those skills that you have will be there when you need them in different ways. So as I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, and I write all of my speeches in the shower, so that's where it happened. So the thing that I want to share with you is a memory I had from one of my swim team practices. I think I was probably about 11 years old. And I'm going to ask you all we're going to get into our bodies a little bit here, just because we've been doing lots of talky talk. So if you could all just sit up straight, and I want you to lift up right or left arm, whichever you want. And just sitting straight, lift your arm up as high as it will go. High as it will go. High as it can go. All right, when you're sure that it cannot go any higher, you can't possibly reach any more, I want you to turn your shoulders. Turn your shoulders and turn toward the arm that's up. And your fingers will go just a little bit further. This is also how you do the crawl, by the way, or the backstroke to extend your reach. So we were standing there straight up. We're like, no, can't reach anymore. We turn our shoulders and our arms go up just another couple of inches, which gives you just a little bit more water to grab and push behind you so you can propel yourself forward. So even when we think we're at our ultimate limit, there may be some small adjustment we can make that gives us more breadth, more reach, more possibility. I encourage you all to take advantage of all of that. Stephanie, thank you so much. I took so many notes on what you said. I love everything you said. I feel like in a lot of ways we live that at CEF, and I made some notes for myself for me to do. I encourage you all to take this opportunity, not only for professional growth, if that's why you came, but you'll see a lot that feeds into your own personal growth, and that those things, when integrated, can lead to some really fulfilling outcomes. So with that, I think it's official. I think if everyone can look at Beth, we will officially open CPSI. Yay! Hooray! Thank you, Beth. Excellent.
Merry CPSI, everyone! Merry CPSI!
Look at my deck is all glitter.
Oh. Thank you very much, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you in the workshops. If you have any questions, you can always email contact@creativeeducation.org. Jamie checks that email all the time, so we won't miss anything. And have a fantastic few weeks. We're so glad you're here.
So if you want to, you can remain in the room. I'm just doing a little magic now. Whoa, look, that's transporter. activate. Anyone who would like to talk with Stephanie, I will open up a breakout room for that. Actually, I'm going to look at the wings. I do not have breakout powers, so I'm hoping one of the wings does. And I'm going to stop recording now.